Last week, a friend of mine told me that she'd had a breakdown. Like she couldn't work on anything for an entire day because of how overworked she was. And I realized that's not the first time I have this conversation with a creative professional. So today I'm sharing everything I told her with you because I think it's a really important discussion we need to have about productivity in the space of architecture, interior design, any creative that's running their own business. I think you're probably doing $10 tasks while your $10,000 work sits untouched. And let me prove you why. Last week, you spent 3 hours choosing fonts for Instagram posts, 2 hours in pointless meetings, and 4 hours on admin tasks. And meanwhile, that high-ticket client proposal is still sitting in your drafts. I'm Ladina, and I used to waste 60% of my productive hours on tasks I should have delegated. And today I'm sharing the 4-zone framework that changed everything, the same one Leila Hormozi uses to run her 500 million portfolio. And I'm also going to give you a trick on how you can feel satisfied with your work at the end of every working day. Because I know how it is to run a business, end your day and feeling like you just did not do enough. So stick around because I'm showing you my actual calendar and the exact delegation metrics that revealed I was doing $50 hours of work when I should have been doing $5,000 hour work. And you can do that too. Let's start with the creative CEO's dilemma. We all know creative work requires deep focus, often 4 to 8 hour blocks. But also if you own a creative business, you're not just a designer anymore. You need to put time into growing your business as well. So this is really important. You need to free headspace to focus on different things in your business. So divide that into time you work on your business and time you work in your business. The problem is most creatives get so busy and invest so much time in their projects that they forget about the business growth. And today we're gonna fix that. I wanna start talking about goal architecture because that friend I was telling you about, she did not get that right. So she told me she was writing a book, doing a PhD, she had client work, she was launching her own business. So that's like work for the next 2 years that she thought she had to do today. And that's gonna mess up with your mind. So let's look at how you can set goals properly and how to break them down into daily tasks so that you can actually achieve them and not let them control you and feel completely overwhelmed. So what I told her to do is start creating a vision board. I used Canva. I even create a 9:16 image that I will set up as my iPhone background. So you're a creative, go into Pinterest, write down words, do whatever you need to do, but create one vision board of how you want your life, let's say in a year, to look like, and things that you want to have achieved within a year. If you're a visual person like me, that vision board is going to help you for the next step. Now that you have this visual representation of who you want to be or where you want your business to be in, let's say, a year, I want you to make a list with 5 categories. You're going to start with business, personal development, fitness, finances, and relationships. And write a few SMART goals for each category. SMART in SMART goals means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So there's no such thing as I want to lose weight or I want my business to grow. Say how much and in what time frame. And make sure it's achievable because it's not realistic that you become a billionaire within 2 months. I want you to do this well. So if you're doing it right now, stop the video because this is gonna take some time to get it right. Now, break down your goals into quarterly, weekly, and daily action steps. So let's take my friend again. She wanted to write a book and we broke down that book writing process into approximately 9 months. With everything else she has going on, it's gonna take her 9 months because she can allocate every week 10 to 15 hours to write that book. So that means if she starts now, next summer, she's gonna be done if she writes 10 to 15 hours a week. The most important part of this, and we're gonna go into that because it's really important that you do it well, is to plan, track, and review those goals and action steps in your calendar or ClickUp, whatever you use, and track and review the progress every last Sunday of the month. But we're gonna go into that. Let the fun begin. So let's decide when you'll work on what matters. Let's set up your perfect calendar framework. I know for myself that I'm most creative in the morning. I'm not good at focus work after lunch, and I can get a lot of things done focused in the afternoon. So this is why my work blocks look like this. My morning blocks are from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's where I work on things that move the business forward. Those are marketing and sales activities, content creation, building internal SOPs for my team so that they can help me with my content creation. This is the time where I make sure people know my business exists. In the early afternoon, that's usually between 2 and 4 p.m., I have internal and external meetings. This is where I can least focus, so I batch all interruptions here. I kind of take advantage of knowing that this is the time where I cannot do deep focus work, so I just do all the talking at this time of the day. And it's so important that you're aware of the cost of switching tasks when you do this, because studies show that when you switch tasks, you usually lose 24 minutes. That is a lot of time if you switch tasks along the day. So that's why we batch similar tasks into blocks. In the late afternoon from around 4 to 7 p.m., I do deep focused delivery. That's client work, high quality output. It's my protected focus time. Now, obviously, depending on what your business does and where you are in the stage of your business, your blocks might look a little bit different. If you're just starting out, you need to spend more time on making sure other people know your business exists. And if you have a lot of client delivery, if you're an established running architecture business, you're gonna need more time working on client projects, and you can reduce, let's say, your marketing block to half an hour or 1 hour a day. And obviously, if you don't have a team, you don't need internal meeting time. And I have a really cool calendar hack for you. What I do is I create an ideal week in a separate Google Calendar. And I copy that week to my actual calendar, so that's kind of a visual reminder of my priorities. And once you do this, you will realize it's way easier for you to focus on the right things and not whatever you have top of mind. And that really allows me to focus on what I'm working on right now, because whenever I have things that pop up in my head from another block, I know I will get back to it in my dedicated work block. So let's say I'm focused on working on client delivery and someone of the team sends me a message about a new ad copy we need to update. I know I have a dedicated time in my calendar to get that done the next morning, so I don't need to stress about that. Also, you see I add a quick connect block each morning and each afternoon, and actually at the end of the day as well, to reply to all messages and do all the little things that take me less than 5 minutes, but that are blocking other people. And if you're wondering how to take your SMART goal list and put it into the calendar, so what I did is I fed it to ChatGPT, I brainstormed with him about how I can break everything down in weekly, quarterly, and daily tasks. Then I made a list of how many hours I would have to spend on each of these things, and ChatGPT helped me distribute those hours in my calendar, respecting my 3 work blocks. Now, at the beginning, we talked about how you're probably focusing on the wrong things, that you should spend your time on the things that really move the business and not on the $20 tasks. And the question in your head should be now, but how do you know what to keep and what to delegate? Let's start with the 2-week time audit. In the next 2 weeks, after you set up your perfect calendar, I want you to track everything in 30-minute blocks. Write down the tasks, the time you spent, and if someone else could do this. And because I've done it myself many times, I know this is really hard, but be honest to yourself. Be honest if this could be something that if you would give someone the right instructions, if they could do it for you so that you can focus on things that are more important for your business and for your goals. Calculate your true hourly value and identify your patterns of time waste. Because most creative CEOs discover that they spend 40% on tasks that are worth less than $50 an hour, 35% on tasks worth $50 to $500 an hour, 20% on tasks worth $500 to $5,000 an hour, and only 5% on tasks worth $5,000 an hour. Now let's fix this with the 4-zone delegation time framework. Leila Hormozi built a 500 million portfolio using this exact framework. It's not about doing more, it's about delegating everything except your, let's say, genius work. Zone 1 is called done or deleted. These are all the things that are of low importance and low competency. These are tasks that don't move the needle and anyone could do. Here are some examples for creative business owners. Scheduling social media posts, basic email responses, office supplies ordering, file organization. The little test question you can ask yourself is, will this burn itself out if I ignore it? So anything that is an easy repetitive task that anyone could do, you delegate it immediately or you delete it completely. So number 2 is what she calls informed progress. These are tasks of high importance but low competency. These are critical tasks that don't require your expertise but need your oversight. Some examples would be client onboarding scripts, email templates for your services, a social media strategy, basic project timelines. These seem easy, but they're the first impression of your business. So what I want you to do here is delegate them with regular check-ins and feedback loops. It's what we would say nose in but hands off. So stay informed, but don't do the work. My tip for you is next time you do it yourself, you open up loom.com, you record your screen as you do the task, and you share your thinking process as you do everything, talking out loudly, and then you save this video in what we call a knowledge base, your SOP library. So next time you have to do it, you share it with someone in your team and they do it according to your guidance. So number 3 are informed results. These are low importance tasks that are high competency. Skilled work that doesn't directly impact revenue. Some examples would be monthly bookkeeping, technical website updates, routine client reports, SOPs. It's important that it's done right, but not important how it's structured. These are the things you should delegate to skilled people and review only the results, because it doesn't matter if it's done your way or not. Only the results matters to you, your goals, and your business. So number 4 are the things you don't delegate. These are of high importance and high competency. This is your genius zone. These are things that are irreversible and high impact work only you can do. Some of these examples are signature creative work, high ticket sales calls, strategic partnerships, your brand vision and voice, your pricing strategy. This is where the 80-20 rule applies. 80% of your time should go into these tasks. As a rule of thumb, these are things that are harder to reverse than to get right the first time. Now let's implement all of this for your business. Here's your implementation roadmap for the next few weeks. Week 1, you audit and track all tasks for 1 week. You can even do this for 2 weeks. And you categorize them into zones and you identify your quick wins. Week number 2, you delegate zone 1. You create a task list for a VA or an assistant. The goal of this week is to delegate 20% of your tasks entirely. Week number 3, you systematize zone 2. That means you create feedback loops, you set up weekly check-ins, and you document the standards. Week number 4, you optimize zones 3 and 4. You hire specialists for zone number 3, and you block 80% of your calendar for zone 4, and then you can go into measuring your results. And this is going to be a big shift in your business. So you're going to need to communicate with your team and make sure they understand why you're doing all of this. Just let them know, like, I'm restructuring my time to focus on whatever you need to focus on. Or you own this now, but keep me informed weekly. That way they know they are in charge, you trust them, but they have to deliver so that you can focus on what really is important for your goals and your business. Before you implement this, I have one last quick tip for you that's gonna change how you feel at the end of the day. I want you to start every working day, sit down for 8 minutes and set your 3 non-negotiables. Things you need to do today to have a fulfilled day, because I know how it feels like as a business owner to end the day every day knowing that you could have done more. And this is really something my friend with the burnout implemented that changed everything for her. Because the cool thing about this is every morning you're in control of what you're going to achieve. If you feel like you have a lot of energy, set 3 big non-negotiables ending this project, sending out a proposal, recording a YouTube video. And on days you have less energy, it can be simple things like answering a big email that's been in your inbox for a few days, or posting an Instagram post, or just little things that keep you moving towards your goals and that help you prove yourself that you do what you say you're gonna do. Because I think that's the most important thing about burning out, is that you feel like you're not doing what you said you were gonna do. So let me know in the comments what your 3 non-negotiables are for today, and I'll let you know mine. And subscribe for more tips on how to grow your design business in a sustainable way.